Glaive, right? They can still pick that up.
Yeah, but the thing is here, LibX is preparing themselves to go up against a Rhyme. That's why they pick up that Scarf first. They're really pushing Sirius to stay away from Rhyme, making sure that they don't deal with one of those like heavy hitting like vanguards that they do.
Yeah, definitely. And we know that Fuji, he loves this hero if given him. So they'll go against it. They draft into it. Very smart decision out of Liberation X. Fortress, the first pick for Gankstars. Sirius, now we just wait to see what they want to go ahead and start to round the squad out with. They're highlighted on an Ardent. This doesn't make sense to me, though.
There is that chance that, you'll be seeing like that CP Fortress that we saw in previous patches, especially during the last qualifiers. And moving forward, they have to choose somebody that's very consistent when you're dealing burst damage, because you want to get down to the deep line. You want to make sure that you get within range of Scarf, because double melee, going into a Scarf is very difficult.
Yeah, it is truly difficult. I mean, being a Rhyme player, I know that Scarf's not one of those heroes that I want to be going toe-to-toe with, especially when he knows I'm coming. It's one thing to gank him out of the bushes, to root him and just pop him immediately, but that's not how Liberation X are going to be playing this. They pick up the Ardent. They're going to be zoning out with gauntlets. They're going to be trying to keep Scarf in the back line, stealing as much damage as possible. And if you manage to get there, they've got a Glaive to peel off.
Well, with this one, Liberation X is betting a lot on this Scarf. Like, they do have that Glaive there. He does quite a bit of damage, but their ideal team fights is going to be Glaive using that Afterburn for peel, Vanguard using that, Arden using that Vanguard just to make sure that Scarf is able to kite back, get into like safety position, whereas Gangstar Sirius, they will be having damage coming out of both sides. As long as Fortress is able to lock on somebody and Rhyme like dives deep in, making sure that they do have that that Warhorn on their end is really going to make their composition work out.
Yeah, definitely an important item they're going to have to pick up there. But with Vox to round out this lineup, Fortress, Rhyme, Vox, huge damage potential to come out of this team. I do feel if Gankstars get any sort of early advantage in this game, it's going to be theirs.
Yeah, but that's going to be a very hard task on their end. They do have to deal with that Glaive, and he's not going to go pick a fight with Rhyme. He's going to make a lot of rotations up to lane. He'll be trying to gank Iraqi Zoro on that Vox as much as possible.
Yeah, well, we'll see. If Rhyme's there, can they bait these ganks out, turn it in their favor? Only time will tell, guys. We've loaded into the Halcyon Fold, so let's just jump into this game. And we toss it to our casters, Shinyi and Forecourt Jester. Take it away.
The Gankstars Sirius, good old patented Fire and Ice. Well, we'll have to see if that can bring them out from this 1-0, Shinyi.
Well, I've got to say, I don't think anyone was expecting that outcome from the last game, or indeed how fast that game was over. But I've got to say, my jaw was dropping to the floor as I watched the draft. We saw upon the original locking in that Scarf first, but then Gangsters countered by picking Rhyme without knowing what the next picks were going to be. And then I was even more gobsmacked when Liberation X went on to pick a melee hero into a Rhyme. So this was just a very confusing moment for me, to be honest. I was just very sadly confused. But, we saw Fuji pull off a fantastic Rhyme, and nonetheless, that Rhyme is going to be very strong against Glaive, especially if he is able to land off his Winter Spires onto either Status Baked or Marto.
Well, yeah, the big thing will be what kind of slobber knocker can Fuji kind of get himself into. But at the same time, look at this. Liberation X, they're looking to actually cut off this rotation here from Gankstars Sirius. They're saying, no, this is ours. You've never heard of a slobber knocker?
What is a slobber knocker?
Brawl, fight. Yeah.
I've never heard of this word before.
Well, you said gobsmacked. It reminded me of it.
Well, it looks like Gangstar Sirius are getting serious. Sorry, I mean serious about the team play, as they start off with some very aggressive, stance there. We saw them kind of defending their jungle, and well, it looks like Iraqi Zoro is going to be taking a little bit of damage there from Pond the Original.
Yeah, just a bit. Now, we have seen our roams kind of come up here and support. They also cash in quite a bit with that Iron Guard, but at the same time, Fuji and Rekt, I mean, they're kind of still going buddy-buddy. I would expect to see them a little bit more offensive here in the jungle, especially if they know that Status Baked is going to be by himself, and, well, alright, he will get that farm, but he should still be okay as well. Still have the Afterburn ready to go, and if we can continue to kind of go for those 2v1s, I mean, that's where Fuji really excels, with these invades.
Yeah, well, we saw Status Baked looking quite low on health there. That was a good opportunity for Fuji and Rekt to engage, especially with Rekt having the Truth of the Tooth available for it to help Fuji gap close. But instead, we saw Fuji kind of turning back on the way. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know where. I have a feeling it's because they didn't quite know where Marta was, so they didn't want to engage. But like you said, this, Rhyme and Fortress is a very good strong combo, especially against a melee hero such as Glaive, and they didn't take advantage of this as I thought they would.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, just a little bit as well, but could be that whole cautious thing coming into it. We've seen some really safe gameplay when you're on the ropes, and well, it's worked out well for the Hammer Esports Velocity crew. We'll have to see if this kind of early passiveness will work out for Sirius. Now, finally, they are going to find Status Baked, but I mean, even if they lock him down with, what, one okay, fine. He's just going to... I expect him to afterburn away. If you lock him down with the Winter Spire, he can just afterburn, but he's going to actually try to afterburn into a bait. Now Rex is actually going to be the bait. He's going to be 1-0 now for Liberation X. Now Fuji as well. He's just going to get chased down at least a little bit. You can see Status Bait coming into that as well with that speed up, and Marteau is actually going to be the one with the uppercut and another afterburn to pick up Iraqi Zoro. This is very similar to what we saw in game number 1.
Oh yeah, the power of the afterburn, especially when you have someone without a reflex block. So that fight was interesting to say the least. We saw Fuji and Rekt trying to steal the minion, but unfortunately Status Baked was able to get the healing minion off them. And at this point, Rekt had already taken a little bit of damage. And what happened was we saw Pawn rotating very well, swooping in to help kind of corner them into one little patch, picked up the kill on Rekt very easily, and Fuji just seemed to be a bit uncertain about what to do, was already kind of withdrawing at this point, and then Iraqi Zoro came in, seemed a little bit of miscommunication again. I think the synergy still seems a little bit off for me at this point, and I think that's something I would like to see them improve on in the next few minutes, hopefully.
Now, it wasn't an ace, so give him that. He did delay long enough to not get ace, but Liberation X up 3-0. It's still even on gold. So the kills, they feel good. The adrenaline gets pumping, but overall, there's not really a lot gained out of it. So the game's not over yet, guys. You can put down your pitchforks. But Fuji, I mean, a lot of this does kind of ride on him because we talk about him a lot. This is his favorite hero, but picking it into that scarf and then a glaive pickup, even if those invades do happen, Status Baked is very likely not to die.
Well, we said, you know, we should be seeing a little bit more invasion coming out from Gankstars, well, especially Fuji and Reg. They should be taking advantage of the power of Rhyme against melee heroes, but they're not doing that very well. And the one time that they did try it was very unsuccessful. I think there's a bit of psychology coming into here. They're a little bit scared about where Pawn the original is. He caught them out last time.
And yeah, 3-0. I mean, I'd be a little bit double thinking about going into that jungle as well.
Yeah, and we're also seeing them going for shield this time. We're not seeing any reflex bots coming out from anyone yet. This is still very early stages, and the Spitfires come out.
Yeah, Marteau's going to be a big target, but Status Baked is able to actually just go right through them with that afterburn. Rekt is probably not going to be living through that fire, especially with the Spitfire. Landing on him at that low hit points. Now, Fuji, do we have another one? We do actually have that Spitfire now taken down. Fuji's looking for at least a return kill, but Marteau comes in from the side, and now we are sitting at 6-0 for Liberation X. They're going to pick up these backs. We got now Pawn. He's going to go back to lane. He's just even fast enough to deny any of these explosions from the scout traps. He's going to get that farm, and this is just looking better and better for Liberation X.
Yeah, they're playing very confidently indeed. And what they're doing so well is that they are focusing on Iraqi. They're focusing on taking him out while he doesn't have a reflex block. They are taking him out. Fuji is going to be very easy for Scarf, so that he's not that much of a consideration for them. It's all about taking out Iraqi Zoro. And once they take out Iraqi Zoro, Rekt will fall very, very easily, especially because I feel like, especially when it's a 3v2 situation, Fortress doesn't do as well. He's not like Arden, he's not like Finn, he can't frontline as well because he is quite a squishy hero. And especially when you've got such strong tanky heroes as Glaive, very difficult for them to draw the advantage at this point.
Well, again, I mean, not a huge amount was kind of taken from that fight. Another 3-0, another ace, and about 1,000 gold between the teams. It's definitely still comebackable, but oh, Gankstars Iraqi Zoro just gets absolutely murdered once more. And now we just turn that right back around on top of Fuji. Even with that silence, the breath was still going, and Marteau might actually be enough here with Pawn the Original to burn down the old man of ice, and he will drop. Now, at the same time, Status Baked has kept Rekt at bay, and this puts us at 8-0. Could this actually be the 9? He gets punted into the wall, and I don't think Rekt's going anywhere. Once again, we are coming up all aces here for Liberation X.
Yeah, but not quite the ace they were looking for. As you know, Iraqi Zoro was out in time, but I think there was just some bad positioning coming out from Iraqi Zoro. He was just on the wrong side. We just saw, if we look back, Rekt was just sitting behind the turret with full health, like, I don't know what to do. And we just saw Iraqi Zoro going down very fast. Fuji landed a very nice Valkyrie on all three of them, but just didn't quite have the damage to do anything at that point.
Oh, we got a split here. Yeah, absolutely. Arakizoro does not want to be the one in the front, though. Here comes a gauntlet saying you shall not pass. And Marto, even with that Vanguard by the end of it, will keep status bait going and deny any kind of kills coming back. Marto will get the farm. He just takes it from the clutches of Fuji. And finally, we will actually put a point on the board. Arakizoro and crew do swing for it, and they take down that scarf, but that's all they're going to get out of this.
Yeah, well, we saw Marto vanguarding Status Bait to safety, but if we look at their levels, Status Bait is 2 levels ahead of Fuji at this point, which is, you know, he is a lot more tankier, he's got more damage at this point, so he is able to get away more safely. But what we saw was that they were able to pick up the scarf, pick up the kill and scarf. They recognized that he was alone, he was going to be very easy to pick up the kill on. So we're seeing Arakizoro on a weapon Vox with Wrecked, so he was able to do a lot of damage there, and this is what they need to do. They need to focus on taking Scarf down. But Glaive is like, pardon?
Yeah, if Wreck can get those stacks, it'll go a long way to it, but so far Rex has just been getting wrecked. I mean, he's 0-3-1.
Getting wrecked. Harsh. But yeah, you're right. They've managed, it's 8 minutes, they've only managed to pick up 1 kill. It's 9-1 so far, but they're still managed to stay relatively close in gold. It's about 2k difference, just about.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely leaning more and more towards Liberation X. And Scarf, as time goes on, just gets better and better, especially with those Spitfires. Wait till he gets that Broken Myth. Okay, I lied. He has the Broken Myth. Wait till he gets even more damage. Like, it can become absolutely ludicrous if they can't jump him, and it's really going to be up to Rex and Iraqi to kind of make that happen. Fuji is going to be waging his own war regardless.
Yeah, and this is not a good time for Gankstars to fight. You know, we saw Arakizoro getting hit by that Spitfire, taking a little bit, quite significant bit of damage there, actually. And Status Big recognizes this is intent on, well, just going in.
All right, Status Bait gets the farm. He still has that afterburn. At the same time, Liberation X is trying to go for that gold mine, and I don't think there's really too much that Gankstars can do about it. No, and now Marto just turns right back around and says, all right, let's get that going. Stunned, punt, and that is it. Status Bait takes down that box, but we have lost out the scarf, and in terms of the hit points, I'm not entirely too sure who's actually healthier here, but Status Bait, can he get here into that zone? He can. The damage is there. Recta's going to be just absolutely on the floor, and now Marto with this 2v1, that might have been a bit of a mistake. Fuji, I think, can still take him down if he can actually land that Winter's Fire. Marto misses one, misses the second, and Status Big now just punts him down and says, no dice. Fuji, I don't think you're, well, okay, I don't think you're going to live, but I say that.
They're going to let him live.
Yeah,
they're
gonna
letting him live.
We got nothing else in the bank. Like, there's nothing
generous.
to catch him.
Very generous. But I've got to say, it started off with a very nice gauntlet coming out from Marto, isolating Arakizoro. And we just saw Status Bait kind of just, after burning into the gauntlet, like, I want a kill. And he was able to get the kill on Arakizoro very easily. And the whole time, we've got Pawn the Original and Fuji and Pawn the Original just facing off. And, you know, surprisingly, Fuji was actually able to pick up the kill onto a ranged hero. That makes me sound quite sassy, but it's just because he is better against melee heroes.
I think it's an absolutely devastating combo. If you throw down that gauntlet and then you afterburn somebody through it, I mean, the stun is still very clearly there. And that's exactly what happened to Arakizoro. I mean, he might not have been able to get stunned from the initial deployment, but once you get that afterburn going, it was just lights out for him. So Fuji did live through it. It was only a 2-0 exchange, but still, or a 2-1 exchange. Still, it's 11-2 per score. Marto's going to go into this one. Does he have that gauntlet? No, it's 15 seconds away, but Rekt again is just going to be the big target. Here comes the breath. Rekt is actually going to still be alive. That Fountain doing some really good work at a Status Baked, however, is just doing absolute monstrous amounts of damage into the back. He just deleted that rhyme. There was nothing that Fuji could have done about that one. Not after Status Baked just kind of puts down the Vox. That's another ace. That's 14-2 now. And at 11 minutes in, this is becoming a very scary proposition for Gankstars.
Yes, looking absolutely terrifying. So, you know, Status Baked sitting at level 12 against Arakizoro 9. Arakizoro finally getting that reflex block, but not in that last fight. He did not have that. And Status Baked was able to just stick to him, just bleed him very fast, actually. And Fuji and Rekt were just trying their best to keep up, but they just couldn't. Status Baked is just absolutely dominating this game.
I like how he just casually walks up to the gold mine and hits it. Wasn't the kill though. I was gonna say what a kill steal right there, but Status Baked at 12, level 12, has 8 of the 14 kills, has been part of 13 of 14 total, no deaths to his name. This is Glaive's game, man. Like, he is doing so out of his mind well right now.
he's absolutely insane. And, you know, we're seeing Fuji trying to get to him, but he's just using his afterburn. He's repositioning himself. And sometimes it's just like, I don't care. I am strong enough to live through whatever you can throw at me, and I will still pick up some kill. And Fuji getting caught out there.
Yeah, but the gauntlet doesn't actually get any stuns, and this could actually be now the turnaround. Yeah, we had the engage, but unfortunately nothing else to come of it, and now all of a sudden, Liberation X, they are going to get one kill by the end of it there from upon the original, but I do not see him getting out from Arakizoro and Fuji, but these guys seem to be trying to prove me wrong all night. Still, that's one hit. There it is. One Spitfire, I think, might have actually been enough to bring down Araki, but not through that ace.
Yeah, that was the fight that Gankstars Sirius were looking for. We, you know, started off looking a little bit, you know, a little bit risky there for us. Fuji was kind of getting a little bit caught out, but he was able to turn that around very well. He was able to root Status Bait and Marto, land the Valkyrie on them, which absolutely deleted Marto there. And from then on, it was a very efficient takedown. Pawn the Original was a bit helpless, couldn't really offer much in the fights. Was trying to poke from far away, but just wasn't enough there.
The other big thing is that the gauntlet did not land any stuns. In fact, everybody was still basically in the middle of it. So we just pop everything. You pop that Valkyrie. It worked out really well. And that's the best that we've seen so far from the Gankstars crew. Is that enough to keep them in this game? They're still down 3,000 gold or so at the 15-5 kill mark. I mean, they're not feeling good about that whatsoever. But we also have a Kraken coming in the next 60 seconds. If we lose one more fight, Liberation X is going to get a Kraken, and that's going to start putting some serious dents into these turrets.
But they got a really nice, decent payout there coming up from the gold mine. So this is a very familiar story that I've been seeing tonight, is a lot of teams are just getting that gold mine without any contest, slowly creeping ahead. What we really need to see is Gankstars Sirius just getting more fights like that. We've said a few things about player psychology, and obviously winning a team fight like that will give them a boost in confidence. But I'm not sure if it's going to be quite enough against Liberation X, who are playing very well tonight.
Now, if there's any time to kind of keep your opponents at bay and close to their turrets, now is definitely a good time to do it. So, because again, like 20 seconds till Helga comes in, we've finally started infusioning up. Pawn the Original is just either doing his stacking thing, his poking thing, he's pushing up this lane, and he is keeping tabs on all of Gankstars at this point. Fuji has already, you know, kind of taken a lot of a hit right there. Status Baked not going to use the afterburn for that engage. He's going to use it for the disengage. The puppies are there as well, and now that's the breath as well. Silences, however, is going to keep Rek going for now, and Pawn the Original is actually going to be the big target. They traded out. They did get the kill on top of Rek, but now Status Baked, he is not going to last through this one. Will Marto actually be able to pick up Arakizor? He will. Now Fuji, he has the fortified health, and there's no way that he can punch right through it. That is it for Arden, and another win for Gankstars.
Unbelievable. That is exactly what they needed. And we saw the perfect Valkyrie. It hit Pawn the Original. It kept him out of action long enough for Arakizar just to use his Sonic Zoom and just dance around him, just dealing quite a lot of damage there onto him. And even though he did go down, it did give them the ace. And we're seeing that gold difference just drawing closer and closer together now. Especially once they get this turret, I think that gold difference is going to be very, well, not quite. What about 1k difference there between the two teams?
Yeah, K.5. So looking at 1,500, that is not that much between these teams. And Status Baked, I mean, he went from 8-0 to 9-2. This is starting to be a little bit more worrisome. And again, if you're looking at some of these gauntlets, the last two have not really been a big impact. They have kind of just created this artificial cage, and it has not been menacing. It has not grouped them together for anything. In fact, it's actually worked against Liberation X twice in a row now.
What I feel like is happening is that we're seeing Liberation X so intent on trying to get Arakizoro is that Fuji is able to land his skill shots on them very easily. So he's able to use his chill wins, catch them out. And I think that's is their mistake, is that they're ignoring Fuji by focusing so much on Arakizoro. Fuji is a very strong hero. He can do a lot of damage, and they should not be neglecting him.
Well, here comes the pups once more. That is going to be the Warhorn on top of that as well. Status Bake saying no, but there's again going to be that gauntlet, but nobody caught into it, and Marto is just going to have to make that exit, though. Dragon's Breath doing some fantastic work up against, well, Rek, but that's not who you want the damage to be on. Marto is going to be a big target. He does actually have that Vanguard, and looks like the movement speed was enough. The teams will actually not get a kill apiece. But you can see Liberation X is slowly starting to get rebuffed, and they are losing a lot of this early game pressure they had.
Pawn the Original is looking very healthy. This is a good chance for him to engage on them again, because Arakizoro, even though he's reaching a little bit, what is Status Big doing? Gonna get caught out there.
Yeah, he's totally going to get cut out. No, nice punch
No.
there on top of Wreck. That bleed is not going to get cashed in. Marto, however, might get cashed in. No, he has that Vanguard Pawn, the original. You said it, he has the health, but do they actually have this fight? Are they going to get wrecked? Well, they will. Now, what are they going to do about Iraqi Zoro? They are going to afterburn to safety, and Status Baked is going to punch it back as well. Fuji, do you got boots? Can you get up there, old man? He cannot catch them. This will actually be a 1-0 turnaround for Liberation X, but like, what else can they do?
How long can Status Pick stay alive for?
Ever, it seems.
We thought he was gonna get caught, and then I looked Pawn the Originals getting caught, and I was like, oh, that's a bad move from both of them. But they were able to get away from this and still be able to pick up kill on Wrecked. That was very nice plays coming out from them. And Iraqi Zoro wasn't able to use his heavy weapon damage to get anything on them. Very nicely played. They were able to stay out of range.
A lot of peel from Status Big. Now, what I giggled about just before the team fight was that the minion wave was actually so immense from Liberation X. They actually took a turret during all that.
Minions OP. I think that's the moral of the story.
Well,
Minions
if you
are
look
strong.
at everything here, we are still exactly 1.5 thousand gold ahead.
Yeah, and even though there is 18-8, doesn't look too great if you just look at it on paper, they're actually doing all right. And all right might not be the best word to describe this, but Fuji is just only going to get stronger. And I think right now it's going to be centering a lot on Red Fuji. If Fuji can keep them distracted long enough, we're going to be able to see Iraqi Zoro just go in, and there is the Warhorn, there is the engage.
Sort of. I mean, there's the retreat. Yeah, Marto is just saying we don't want any of that. That probably was the worst place that they could have actually picked a fight. The wait for it, ripping through that bush, would have been absolutely devastating. And I think Gankstars might have just been able to take the game right there. But Fuji, now there you go. Now they are going to be trying to keep Iraqi Zoro in the back. They use that reflex block so we can get into it. And Marto is going to just have to try to stay alive as long as he can. Here comes the fire, and Status Baked into the back will actually pick up that box. Marto, you can actually maybe die in peace here, but no, again with the peel. Status Baked keeps him alive as long as he can. They traded out 3-1. An impressive streak indeed. That was definitely a lot more Liberation X-esque as we've been seeing him just do absolute massive amounts of work this game.
I think the biggest mistake we saw there was that, we saw Marto use the gauntlet, throwing it down, but then we saw Iraqi Zoro, he was caught on the outside, used his reflex block to get in, but what was the mistake there was that he did not have the reflex block to block Status Baked's afterburn later on, and that punted him right into the direction of the Dragon's Breath, and he went down very, very fast. And that was just the beginning of a very fast decline there for Gankstars Sirius. As you know, we just saw Wreck going down very fast, who's quite a squishy hero, to be honest. He doesn't really have much in terms of defense, and Fuji tried the best as he could for the longest amount of time, but unfortunately at the end of that team fight, Pawn the Original was still sitting very healthy.
Yeah, there was just really no pressure on top of the Low Dragon that round, and Status Baked is able to finish out that Kraken. We pushed up and got that clutch turret there at the choke point. This is, again, starting to look very, very bad for Gankstars Sirius. They are down 21-9 for the kills. Only 2,000 gold or so, but that is 5 infusions plus a Kraken that's going to be barreling down on their base.
Yes, and we're going to see Wreck's infusions running out very soon. Well, Wrecked and Fuji's infusions running out very soon, but Wrecked is determined to engage whilst that Kraken is heading for the base.
Yeah, but they didn't land those bleeds on top of Pawn. Even the wait for it is not really going to be hitting that mark. The Valkyrie does come out there as well, though. And Status Baked, well, that's actually going to be a really good opportunity for a 2-0 for Gankstars, but Status Baked now is just going to go the way of the Kraken because the Kraken is pushing in and there's only 2 turrets. If he can pick up or even keep them busy, I mean, it's going to be fully worth it. Looks like they're not even going to give him the time of day, though. They are going to go right back to those turrets, and will this even take a turret?
I don't think so. They're taking it out very fast, and that was exactly what we need to see from that Gankstars Sirius before in that last team fight. They jumped onto Pawn the Original. Pawn the Original had no chance, and by taking him down first, that is exactly what they needed. It stopped the kind of long-range poke that we were seeing from him before, and they stopped him from using the Dragon's Breath. It was very efficiently done by them.
I think it was the Valkyrie, actually, the silence that got him, because it didn't really look like the wait for it hit him.
Yeah, so they just need to focus on Pawn the Original from now on in the fights. Status Baked was kind of like, whoa, where are they? And they were able to get past him. Iraqi's Fuji there on the Rhyme, doing quite a lot of work there against Scarf.
So this is actually now a problem for Liberation X, because they had the Kraken, but they couldn't push with it. They didn't even get a turret out of it, and they forked over 1,500 gold plus 2 kills to Gankstars Sirius. They are actually now leading in gold because of that.
Yeah, it might be by like 600 gold, but it's still a lead. It's beginning to look promising for Gangstar Sirius. They're looking for a fight. Maybe not the best time to engage as Fuji's. He's just, as Rec's rules still aren't out yet. They should wait a few seconds before they do engage on this, and they probably shouldn't fight near that minion mine. So I think they'll be looking to take that out very soon, as they are.
Liberation X's best bet is either in these bigger areas where they can't get choked up for the wait for it, or based upon an engage from Marto. If Marto can get down those gauntlets, and so far every good gauntlet has yielded great returns for them, if they can burn out those reflex blocks, that just leaves Status Bake to have kind of free reign. And, well, again, there's the wait for it. They don't actually get a huge follow-up on top of it, so that's out of the bag. Now, one good gauntlet, I think, could be the big thing here.
Upon
And
there
there
is
it
looking.
is. Yeah, he's going to throw it out, and Pawn, he's going to go right through it and live! At least for now, the Fountain is going to be taking that Status Bake, even with this turret. The damage is just way too much. They juggled that damage very nicely, and Gankstars pick up 3-0. Gauntlet aside and turret down, this is looking like Gankstars is out for blood.
Yeah, I think we need to see Pawn the Original prioritizing a little bit, maybe the journey boost. They were running, but he was the one that was behind. He should not have been the one behind. Iraqi Zara was using his Sonic Zoom to try and get as many attacks as he could onto the Pawn the Original, and it was working so well. It's very easy for him to take him down. So I would like to see maybe Martz or Statistic moving behind so that Scarf is not the one in the back when they're being chased. That would have helped a lot in that team fight.
Iraqi Zero just took a turret. The rest of the crew is looking for the Kraken. We just spawned from Liberation X, and they are 2 turrets away from the 2-0 on top of a world-class team. This could actually be game 3 if Rec doesn't go down to this Kraken. No,
It doesn't look like it's not the end of the. He's not gonna get wrecked by the Kraken anyway. But all the infusions are coming out from them. This is the power spike that they need. Pawn the Original just has enough gold to infuse, double infuse, I think, when his infusions run out.
Yep, he has 1,000 gold now ready to go, and he's going to have to do it like right now because this Kraken coming down and Gangstar is taking the gold lead by 4,000 gold. They are not playing from behind anymore. They have clawed their way back into this. 24 minutes in, we got 35 kills. Pawn does double infuse. If he can get off that breath, they've shown that they can take these fights. If he doesn't, just like in that last one, this is it.
Yeah, well, Gangstar Sirius, their engages have been a bit shaky to say the least. It's been very back and forth, but the Wolves have been released.
Yeah, and Fuji's just going to go straight for it. He's not even going to be part of this fight. The Wolves got these guys spooked, and now Status Bake, he's still actually going to go down. The late game Fox is doing work, takes the 2v1, and takes down Marto as well. Fuji, with the help of the Kraken, takes the turret. He wasn't even part of the fight. He's going to burn, but it doesn't matter. We're going to our third game 3 of today in 3 sets.
I can't believe it. This is so exciting. And it's so brilliant. I feel like Gangstar Sirius just really came back there. They were not performing well. And then I feel like, after the first ace that they were able to get, they kind of got some confidence. They were able to engage a little better. As I said, not all their engages were very consistent, but they were able to just pull through that. Fuji was in on the rhyme, probably his new favorite character, hero, was doing so much. And they're able to separate Pawn the Original very well. And they're focusing him at the end as he should have been doing from the start.
Well, Vox is really living up to those late games, and if I had to guess in a blind pit coming up, Fuji is going to be hitting that rhyme once more, but man, oh man, what a comeback and another game to decide who is going to be moving on. Both these teams, it's really hard to call, but we're going to throw it back to guys who have a little bit more knowledge on the subject. Back to Roman Humanist as we get ready for our third blind pick of the day.
Well, thank you, Forecourt Jester, and